What's up, everybody? It's Bear with BearIndependent.com, where all the cool kids hang out on the forums and stuff. We're going to talk about tools of the trade today. But before we get started, can y'all see that? Now you can see it. See that? I want to send a gigantic shout out to two people. Rich at PHL Holsters, who made me this. Yeah, it's for real now. I love the free market. Thank you, PHL Holsters. And Gary Z, who also rose to the occasion and made me this. Look at it, the gorgeousness. Now I have one for each of my whiteboards. This is incredible. Thank you. I mean, really, thank you. I love America. You gentlemen are awesome, and the Bear Nation salutes you. So if you need some Kydex, you guys know what to do. You know how this works. Look at this. This is awesome. Look at it. Awesome. 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 All right, let's set this down and get started. Whew. And we're back. All right, a lot of y'all have been like, Bear. I'm like, what? And you're like, Bear, I need a video. What? I need a video about what tools to have. Okay. This video could just as easily have been shot in my barn, and maybe we'll do that. If y'all want to see a barn tour video, you know what to do. Barn tour video, Bear. Okay, copy. Let me know. Here's the deal. This is an overview of some ideas that I had thinking about tools of the trade, designed to get you to think, okay? So, first and foremost, old ways. What are you gonna do when the electrons are no longer flowing? To which one could have the, make the comment, well, I'm going to decentralize and flow my own electrons, bruh. Which is awesome. Solar, wind, diesel, propane, water, methane, whatever you got, do it. Flow your own electrons. Awesome. Also, keep the old ways. Have a way to do all of these things. And so just some ideas. Hand saws, rather than your reciprocating saw, your circular saw, because there will be building projects. A brace and bits, or a sawdust pump, which goes with your galloping irons when you're hanging cross irons without a bucket truck. Yeah, that's right. I know all those things. A brace and bit is that drill you put on your shoulder and you turn like this. Old-timey drill. And it drills holes like an old-timey person. Axes. Need I say more? Cross-cut saws could go with that, very easily go with that. 1-man and 2-man for why? For processing timber, cutting logs, bucking logs into length for either building materials or for firewood, so forth and so on. Shovels and all the things that go with shovels. Lots of shovels, because shovels break. They have a shelf life. And so I've kind of made a habit out of, anytime I do a construction project, I buy a shovel, a rake, a hoe, a digging bar, something. Not that I don't already have multitudes of these things, but I want depth on these items. Lots of. Okay. Scythes. So that you can cut grass to feed to your ma or whatever, or your moo, or whatever animal it is that makes weird barnyard noises, you can feed them with your scythe. Machetes. Need I say more? Digging bars, again, if you live where I live now, I have way better soil, meaning that I actually have soil as compared to a lot of my brethren in the tribe, which are rock farmers because they live on the side of mountains. But even then, we still run into rocks that need to be dug up, and a digging bar is a great way to go about doing that. Hand grinders. Grind the wheat to make the bread, right? Hammers. You guys know what a hammer is, right? What is this? 13-ounce light-duty wood hammer. We have multiple hammers. Thanks, Opie. Waddell's Rabbit Farm on Facebook. You should check them out. Opie Waddell. Hammers, etc. Ways to do the things without the flow of electrons. Fasteners. This is something that a lot of people forget about. I have a hammer. I have no nails. I have screwdrivers. I have no screws. I have no lag bolts. You know, you could add up here ratchets. Oh, what does this say? It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Indeed. Lag bolts. How about ratchets, sockets, extensions, wobbles, so forth, so on, screws, etc. Lumber. I like having lumber on hand. It's very convenient to walk out to the barn and have a stack of lumber to sort through. How much? When you can't stack it anymore, you might have too much. So that's an answer. And everybody has a different appetite for that. But to, you know, barricade the doors and windows, you're gonna need lumber to do that. Plus, there's gonna be building projects. There's, at least if you live rurally like we do, there's always a building project. So having some lumber on hand. Chainsaws. Not just chainsaws, but, and by the way, there's no blade on a chainsaw. There's nowhere on a chainsaw is there a blade. There's a bar, there's a chain. On the chain, there's cutter teeth. There's also risers on there and drive links, but there's no blade on a chainsaw. So you should have the chainsaw, spare chainsaw, spark plugs, air filters, maybe a backup bar. I like having multiple bars, lots of extra chains. I like at least 3 chains per saw, so you can have one on the chain, or one on the bar, one spare, and one invariably that always needs to be sharpened. And then with sharpening, you need flat files and round files of the appropriate size for the type of chain that you're running. That's just the chainsaw, plus gas, plus bar oil, plus 2-cycle oil, so forth, so on. So it's a whole system. And then you could even get into the PPE. You need your logging helmet and your eyewear, your ear pro, your chaps, the appropriate boots to go with it, gloves, whatever you might have. Your awesome scrunch holder that hangs on your belt from sojourngear.com, which is awesome, like legit. I have 2 of them and I love them. My wife stole one, so whatever, babe. Lumber, chainsaws, firewood, all the stuff you need to make firewood, axes. A lot of people are like, I'm just gonna cut it by hand with an axe. I don't know about y'all, but I've had much better luck splitting with a splitting maul than I have with an axe. An axe for me is a felling tool, not a splitting tool, and a maul is for splitting. Which brings us to timber. What are you gonna do with all this timber? Fence post is a good one, especially if you have lots of eastern red cedars like we do that aren't good for much. But they are good for fence posts, and if they get big enough, you can make them into lumber. You can build barricades. Maybe you've been reading the Going Home series by A. American, and you're like, I want a barricade in the middle of my neighborhood too. Cool. Well, that takes trees and stuff, which is also known as timber. Building materials. Your timber can be building materials if you have chainsaws and hand saws and fasteners and nuts and bolts and lags and screws and all that. You know how to put all this together. So timber is a wonderful resource, one that one of the 3 things that were non-negotiable on the property that we bought when we were looking for properties was mature timber. Absolutely had to have it, A, because we like it aesthetically, it's pleasing to us, and B, because it's a building material, an infinite resource of building material all around you. Okay. Tools of the trade. Think about tradespeople. What tools do they use? Plumbing tools, electrical tools, carpentry tools, welders, etc. I think welding off of a solar rig is awesome. To be able to turn the sun into molten hot liquid steel is delicious. I love it. So, plumbing tools, pipe wrenches, crescent wrenches, strap wrench, angle drill, screwdrivers, things of that nature. And if you have solar, if you can perpetuate the moving of your own electrons, cordless drills and cordless impact guns and sawzalls and circ saws and jigsaws and wiggle saws, aka oscillating tools, are phenomenal resources to have at your fingertips because there will be building projects. Okay, so plumbing, electrical, this would be line pliers, needle nose, side cutters, they're called, typically called a insensitive word these days. It starts with the D and rhymes with bikes. Bypass cutters, aka loppers. Number 2, square drive, screwdriver, Phillips head, flat blade, hot gloves. Hot gloves are good to have, all those things. Carpentry tools, hammer, tool belt. Tool belt's really nice. Speed square, tape measure, lots of pencils, plumb bob, and chalk line. A framing square, a level, basic stuff. Welding, need I say more? Long leather gloves and a welder and a hood, mask, whatever you want to call it. Something to cover your dome with. And these are just ideas. Why would you need all that stuff? To maintain what you have. See, for us, we're homesteaders, and so there's always projects, always. So to be able to maintain what we have, and I'm burping. I always burp when I talk to y'all. In fact, some of y'all were like, Bear, are you okay? Are you all right? You seem super burpy lately. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Sometimes I drink water and then I have the need to burp. But as we go about the business of homesteading, man, there's always something that needs to get fixed or built constantly. And homesteading is a huge portion of our preparedness plan. So we need to be able to perpetuate that, which is why this is what comes to mind. Now, I know a lot of y'all are like, yeah, Bear, but I mean the tools of the knife hand trade. All right, let's go over here. Okay. Tools of the don't tread on me trades. Hardware. Firearms. I know you guys love it when I do this. What are we carrying today? Glock 21C. See, that's the difference with the C right there. It's ported on top, which helps mitigate muzzle rise, but will definitely blind the ever-living crap out of you at night because it dragon's breath at the top of it. Anyway, I digress. Firearms and the ability to use them because they've been zeroed and you train with them. Okay? Optics, and not just your dot sight, but the ability to make positive identification of potential targets. Optics. Okay, and you could easily roll FLIR and nods into that same category. Should you have these things? Yes, and there's levels here. There's introductory preparedness, intermediate preparedness, and then advanced preparedness. And nods and FLIR, I'm gonna say, are up here. Okay, they're not down here. Down here is a nice pair of binoculars, and here in the middle is like, I'm gonna put an EOTech with a 3x magnifier on my rifle, and up here is, hey, what kind of nods should I buy? Says me, your mileage may vary. LBE, load bearing equipment, your vest, your chest rig, your plate carrier, your war belt, your rucksack, your whatever, okay? Camo. Need I say more? And I get all the questions on camo, and the short answer is I'm not the requisite camo guy. You can search Bear Independent Camo, and there's a couple of videos that will come up that we've shot talking about camo, including PACE, Primary Alternate Contingency Emergency, for your camo plan. Medical. Y'all talk quietly amongst yourselves. You guys knew I was going to get this, right? You knew. If I was high speed, I would have had it here already, but I'm not high speed. Moderate speed, some drag. This is a blowout kit. This is, you guys know what this is, right? You hang this on your plate carrier, chest rig, whatever. If you get hit, I'm hit. You pop this open, and you yank this out, and this comes open, and then you pull this little tab, and there goes your tape, and then all your stuff is in there, ready to go. One of the few kits, just FYI, on the market that has a legit decompression needle on it, as well as full-size chest seals. So it's not like, yeah, I got chest seals and they're this big. You're like, that's not gonna work, bro. Like, it's cute and all, but that's not gonna work. So here, we'll throw this right there. Made in America. But you should have some kind of medical and know how to use it, so that when your buddy's hovering over you with the decompression needle, like, here? No, not there. Here? No, not there either. Here, right? It's here? No, bro. Remember the algorithm between the second and fourth intercostal space and like, get training, okay? A good knife. Should you have a good knife? Yes. Knives are the #1 tool that we interface with our environment with, says me. At least for me. And think about it, especially if you're, I'm gonna bug out to the woods and bushcraft my way to prosperity and end times. Well, you're gonna need a good knife for that. So, take your pick. I have some knife reviews at this channel. There's lots of people who, it's their job, literally, to review gear. Not me. That's not what I do. I do the occasional review, especially when somebody wants to support the channel, like PHL or whoever. When people are willing to work with me and they send me good stuff, I will absolutely give them a shout out, but it ain't my job to, okay guys, today we're gonna talk about the brand new SE5, and the reason you want the SE5 is so that you can stick it in the necks of your enemies when they're out patrolling, and you very slowly sneak up behind them like this, and as they're looking over here across the ridgeline, you slap your hand on their forehead and you pull back and you stick that knife right here in between the clavicle and the first rib, and then right underneath there is the subclavian artery, and see what you want to do is come down and across and break the clavicle and cut the top of the lung so that the subclavian does it. Yeah. That's not my job. Okay. A good knife, you should have one. Homesteading and the militant farmer concept. This is something we've talked about before, and we will continue to talk about here because it's the cornerstone of this channel. The militant farmer concept. Everybody should be able to run a shovel and a rifle. And those two very broad columns, what those things represent. A shovel represents agriculture, the old ways, community, and being self-reliant. The rifle represents security, offensive and defensive capabilities, developing your intel network, and the ability to maintain independence from tyranny. Okay? So those two very broad columns, what tools do you need to fulfill those pillars of this militant farmer concept? So you need a rifle. Right? You need all this stuff. We talked about that. You need this stuff. The agriculture comes back to the ability to keep the old ways, to do that stuff without the flow of electrons, grow your own food, bro. Right? Community. How are we going to foster community? What tools do we need to do that? I mean, for me, it starts with the Bible, #1 tool on the planet, right? And then moving on from there. How about getting back to your commos so that we can talk to each other? Medical is an important part of community because we're keeping everybody healthy, and we can go out into the greater community at large and be a benefit to them and engender goodwill, right? Build a rapport. And self-reliance. Self-reliance means that if we're not depending on other people because we're doing all this other stuff, that puts us in a position where ultimately we may have to be defensive with our rifles because we have something everybody else doesn't. See how it all kind of ties together here? So again, this tools of the trade is going to be a pretty quick video. I mean, it's 20 minutes, but that's quick for one of these whiteboards. The idea here is not for me to tell you every little thing you gotta have if you're gonna survive the zombie apocalypse, bro. Ugh, hate that. It's to get you to think. I want you to think about where you are and what do you need where I am right now in four-dimensional space-time to perpetuate normalcy for myself and my people, and then map that out for the next year, 5 years, 10 years, and look at, as that grows, what do we need to perpetuate? What do we need to keep moving forward? These are just a few of my ideas. I hope you found this helpful. You guys asked for this video, you got this video, and I'm not a gear whore. So I'm not going to show a whole bunch of gear on camera. If you want a tour of the barn, we can take a tour of the barn. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Gary Z and PHL for the Kydex. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the patrons for supporting the show. Without you, this would not exist. We could not and would not do it without you. If you would like to support the show, you can click on the baby bear. It's up here somewhere. That'll take you to Patreon. $1 a month, 24 plus unique pieces of content a month. In addition to everything we do for free on YouTube is at Patreon. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. Shalom and blessings.